What's up, peasants? My name is JB, and I'm here today with yet another draft analysis video. We had one go up yesterday for the BBL, but this time we are here with the UBL D-League draft analysis for Season 1. So for those of you who don't know, this was announced a couple weeks ago on the Discord server that I was actually given an opportunity to be in the UBL D-League. So shout out to the council and whoever made the decision to give me a chance. So that's awesome. Really excited to be here. Should be a super fun time. And also go check out the links down in the description. There will be like a link to the UBL YouTube channel and probably the Twitter, not really sure, as well as all the other coaches channel links. So go check everyone out down there. This is a upload league, of course. So yeah, go show everyone love. Their draft analysis videos all go up today, and yeah, it should be a really fun season. So getting into the actual draft for your Razorwinds, this is a little bit of a different sort of, I guess, plan than I would normally do. I don't know if plan's necessarily the right word. I just went about this draft a little bit differently than I normally would, being that, you know, typically you build around like a tier 1 mon or a certain mega Pokemon that you just really want to use. Well, I did one of those things, kind of, but I didn't really do that. I built those, I like planned like the starting, you know, getting the wheels turning. Like I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just gonna shut up and talk. But I started this plan with a tier 2 Pokemon, which is strange because, well, it's a tier 2 Pokemon. And typically, you know, you draft your tier 1 Pokemon like looking for a big, and that's how you build your team around. But I'm a weird person, and also I thought this Pokemon didn't really belong in tier 2. I thought it was really good value, and then a Mega Pokemon that paired with it in a lower Mega tier, which gave me more free points, also paired incredibly well with it, and I just felt that it was a no-brainer to start building the team around those two Pokemon, and we'll get to those when we get to them, obviously. But for the first round pick, you know, we sort of, when I say we, I mean me and Dorian, so my front office member, so shout out to Dorian for helping me plan this draft. We actually went really hard with this draft, trying to get a really good team. And yeah, it was really fun actually to, you know, full on try harder draft rather than, you know, just draft things as they come to us. So that was actually a little bit of a fun change of pace. Anyway, getting back into the actual draft. So after we had, you know, planned to build around the two Pokemon that we had planned to build around, we wanted to, you know, sort of build, you know, cover what those things needed to be covered with the rest of our picks. So with our first pick, we decided to go ahead and grab Zapdos. And the reason we decided to grab Zapdos, well, round 1 will make more sense later, as obviously, you know, it will, just as I, you know, show you what my team is. But yeah, Zapdos, it provided the team with just incredible bulk right off the bat. Just an amazing, like bulky, just pivot. Like it just pivots for days, man. With a Volt Switch as well as access to U-turn, which is always lovely. Having a Pokemon, having an Electric type that gets access to U-turn is always nice. So you can't, you know, just freely have ground types brought in on it to, you know, have to, you know, obviously not affected by Volt Switch, so you give good momentum there. It's a great defog option, as well as just being one of the absolute fattest mons in the game. Like, the Zapdos just doesn't die, man. Has incredible bulk with base 90 HP and speed def, as well as, you know, 85 defense. As fucking, you know, really solid 125 special attack, which is the same as Hydreigon, which is nuts. Base 100 speed is solid, meaning that, you know, it oftentimes will outspeed most walls because you don't typically need to run max speed on Zapdos, but you can. Like, an offensive Zapdos can put in a ton of work against the team. It doesn't get the best coverage options, but it does get, you know, some stuff with like extrasensory, heat wave, as well as hidden powers. But mainly, it's just here to be an incredibly bulky pivot, a solid defogger, and provide the team with just a very reliable, just wall, just sponge, just you know, status spreader with like Thunder Wave and Toxic and that sort of thing. Pressure is always annoying to have to deal with as well, and Static even is nice to have as an ability. Also, you know, just switching it on U-turns, getting that random 30% chance to paralyze, like that can't be, that can never be overlooked because it's just a very, very nice thing to have. So with my next pick, I decided to go ahead and grab the Pokemon that we decided to build around, which was tier 2. So with our, you know, second round pick, we decided to go ahead and grab Landorus Incarnate. So yes, it's a Landorus Incarnate, and in tier 2, you can probably guess that Sheer Force is banned. It is a Sandforce Lando I, though. However, I felt that it was just incredibly good value because it's still a tier 2 Landorus. And I'm sure that pretty much gives away what my Mega Pokemon is as well, but we'll get to that when we get there, obviously. But yeah, I just thought tier 2 Landorus was a steal, regardless of whether or not I'm able to use Sandforce or not, or Sheer Force, you know what I mean. even though I'm not able to use Sheer Force, I still thought taking a Landorus in tier 2 was incredibly valuable. It's faster than Landorus Therian with, you know, base 101 speed. 115 special attack is still going to hit incredibly hard, and 125 attack is also still going to hit very hard as well. Still solid bulk in 89 HP, 90 defense, 80 speed F. Obviously, you know, it loses out on a little bit of that bulk because it doesn't get access to Intimidate, where, you know, Landorus T does, but I still just feel like it was a really good value pick in tier 2. You know, having to rely on Sand Force isn't necessarily a bad thing because it does still have, you know, great offensive stats, and it's just a really hard-hitting mon. Yeah, it made it just, to me, I still feel like even with Sand Force there should be a tier 1 mon, and I thought it was an absolute steal in tier 2, so that's why we're here talking about Landorus. Obviously, you know that times for ice weakness is something we're gonna have to watch out for. Even with Zapdos on the squad, you know, having 2 mons weak to ice isn't exactly a great thing, but we can patch that up later, and I obviously will. So, the things Landorus does, it does the same things Lando T does, but on sometimes stronger, sometimes not. It just depends on the set and whether or not it stands up, but we'll see. We'll see. Obviously, you know, it's a great, it gets set up with both Bulk Up and Calm Mind. It's good defogger nowadays. Earth Power, Earthquake for Ground Stab, Explosion's cool, Extrasensory's cool, Focus Blast is cool, Grass Knot. Like, this thing gets coverage for days. There's another U-turn option as well. It can set up with Sword Stance, can Rock Polish. Like, it can just run through teams, man. And, you know, like I said a few times already, I just feel like tier 2 Landorus. Words are hard. Why do people let me in their YouTube leagues? Like, Jesus Christ, I'm bad at talking. Just gonna roast myself real quick. But yeah, again, I felt like tier 2 Landorus was an absolute steal, so we went ahead and grabbed it. So, with my next pick, I had actually hoped to grab a Ferrothorn here, but unfortunately that did get taken, so I had to, you know, go ahead and settle for another steel type that was 4 times weak to fire to, you know, take hidden power pressure off Lando. So I went ahead and grabbed regular Scizor, because obviously I didn't want to grab Mega Scizor because I'm sure you all know what my Mega is at this point. But I'll save it. I'll keep you guys in suspense for those of you who might not know. I don't want to spoil it yet. But I decided to get Mega Scizor or regular Scizor rather, for a few reasons. One, like I already mentioned, it takes hidden power, or puts hidden power pressure on my opponent to have to decide if they want to bring hidden power ice for Lando or hidden power fire for Scizor. And Scizor, honestly, I feel like regular Scizor is, I don't know if it's better than Mega Scizor, but I personally like it more than Mega Scizor, simply because of, you know, just freeing up the item slot and being able to be that just a little bit more versatile that Scizor just often appreciates. Of course, you know, it still has base 130 physical attack with Technician boosted priority bullet punches, so it's still going to hit like an absolute truck. You'll slap a Choice Band on it and like it still hits just as hard as Mega Scizor, if not harder. I'm not doing the math because screw doing math. Still a great defogger, as well as, you know, another, you know, mon that has access to U-turn, so more pivoting is always good. Good knockoff user, good pursuit trapper. Like, it's still a Scizor and it's still gonna hit incredibly hard. It can roost, it can just SD and bullet punch spam and just win games sometimes. So I thought it was, you know, a very solid partner for Lando I. Again, kind of really wish I had Ferrothorn here because, as you will see, it just would have fit the team honestly better than Scizor did. But that's not to say Scizor isn't a fantastic Pokemon and a great backup for, you know, getting sniped. Like, oh wow, you got sniped. Too bad you have to, you know, take a Scizor. Like, God, what a bad Pokemon. But nah, I'm joking, obviously. But Scizor is gonna fit the squad really well. Again, pairing incredibly well defensively with Lando I, as you know, Zapdos too to some extent. So always nice to have just a Scizor. So next up, this is a Pokemon I've just always wanted to grab, and again, you will see a bit of a theme here in terms of Pokemon that have a few shared weaknesses with these first 4 picks, so that's not exactly great. But with my next pick, I just decided to go ahead and grab Latios. So yeah, I know, another Pokemon weak to ice, but we have plenty of time to patch that up. I'm not too worried about it, and plus, like, I mean, Zapdos isn't dying to any, like, non-boosted hit, neither is Latios unless it's, like, a Weavile, Banded Weavile. Like, I could just Yachi that, or I have actually quite a few decent Weavile checks on this team. But make sure to get good Weavile checks with a team this week to ice. So yeah, Latios provides a great Dragon type, provides me even another, you know, ground immunity, which is always nice. So I already have 3 ground immunities, which if you've been following this channel for a while, you know my drafts tend to be pretty dang weak to ground. So patching that up early, making sure, you know, we don't have to deal with ground types. But Latios is just a very, very potent offensive mon with, you know, even another defog option. So 3 out of my 4 mons have, actually all 4 of my Pokemon to this point have defog, so screw your hazards. But yeah, Latios, just an incredibly versatile offensive Pokemon with, you know, access to Calm Mind to just set up and just run through teams. Draco's always nice to have. Of course, you know, Stab Draco, Stab Psychic, Stab Side Shocks, and the coverage this thing is just out of this world, which is why I did decide to go ahead and make it one of my Z users over Lando I, which some might question, but I mean, can you really go wrong when choosing between a Latios or a Landorus in terms of which one you want to hold Z crystals? So, I mean, I feel like Latios is just a little bit of a safer option, and the tier 5 mon that I could pair it with, which is also a little bit safer. I guess I could have paired, you know, Landorus with the same tier 5 mon, but I feel like Latios was just a little bit safer in, you know, terms of the utility rather it can provide with Z moves. It's gonna suck not being able to run like the random Z Sandstorm Landos, but we'll get over it. But the things that Latios can do is just ridiculous. Calm Mind, like I already mentioned, Earthquake Energy Ball, Grass Knot, Ice Beam. Memento is an incredibly useful move to have. Z Mementos are always fun. Just like, oh hey, my Lando's getting leveled, why not just Z Memento it back and click Rock Polish and win a game? So, you know, why not just do that once in a while? Gives dual screens as well, is always nice. Shadow Ball, Shadow Claw, Thunderbolt, Waterfall, Surf, like, also access to Dragon Dance that Latios doesn't get. So if a physical dragon has a really good matchup, I can just run, you know, DD Latios and just win a game. Or if I really need a speed boost, why the hell not? So yeah, Latios is a really fun mod. I've never really actually gotten to use a regular Latios in a league, and I'm really excited about it. I've used Mega Latios before in a league that died, unfortunately, but I mean, the PBL, it was PBL, I think. It didn't really die, but it kind of died, but we don't want to talk about it. But I am really excited to be able to use a regular Latios. It's the first time I've ever been able to do it, and I'm really happy about it. So, next up, I needed a nice switch-in. Obviously. Definitely needed a nice switch-in. And I wanted something, I wanted a Cleric, and I wanted something that could pass some really fat wishes to Landorus, or Scizor, or Latios if need be. And for those of you who can't guess where this is going, we decided to go ahead and pick up Vaporeon. Vaporeon is one of my absolute favorite bulky waters. It's probably my personal favorite of like the actual just fat waters. Typically I've been drafting like more offensive water types lately, but I felt like this team desperately needed a fat water, and Vaporeon is my favorite fat water. Just, it's so good, dude. With just ridiculously high HP, one of the fattest wishes in the game, base 130 HP. 110 special attack is very, very underrated. Like, you don't invest in it usually, but, you know, 110 base special attack, Scalds and Ice Beams aren't going to feel good. And, you know, you can get away with a cheeky spec set every now and then and just, you know, claim a kill. 95 Spidef, very solid as well, so you can afford to invest in Fizz Def a lot of time just to live hits. Water Absorb and Hydration are two very solid abilities. More typically Water Absorb, obviously, just that for that nice immunity. But, you know, Hydration can be cool if there's like a rain team and I really need it. Yeah, but just the versatility and like the, you know, the team support that Vaporeon provided were just too nice to pass up. Fantastic ice resist, you know, with Scald, healing, or unfreezing it if I manage to get frozen, switching it on an Ice Beam or whatever. And then, you know, just having Heal Bell support for the team, Wish Baton pass so I can just safely pass just base 130 HP wishes, just healing everything back up. So it provided everything I needed for the team and in a very solid way. So next up, like I'd already mentioned, I wanted Ferrothorn on this team, so I missed out on that. So I missed out on Spikes. So I kind of had to improvise, and I don't really know how well this Pokemon fits with this team. It's a great Pokemon, and I love it and I love using it, but I'm just not so sure how it fits with this team because it's not the bulkiest of Pokemon, but it fills a role, and that is Razorwinds. I love Razorwinds. For those of you who, again, have followed this channel for a while, you know, like, my mission for a solid year was to draft Razorwinds because it kept getting sniped for me. And now I've, you know, used Razorwinds a few times. I'm very comfortable with it, and honestly, I'm to the point where I'm not so sure how it actually fits on this team, but what Razorwinds does provide, it provides me with spikes as well as toxic spikes, which is always nice to have. It provides me with a grounded poison type to get rid of said toxic spikes. Not like I didn't have, you know, 3 defoggers who were off the ground, so it's fine. It's another ice weakness, which, yeah, I know, I'm really, really weak to ice, but hey, shut up. I have Vaporeon. What's a nice type to a Vaporeon, right? I mean, Scizor's a resist too, it's fine. But Razorwinds is a very, you know, solid mod. It can fit on a team a lot of weeks. It just does what it needs to do very well. Natural Cure is a very solid ability to have, so it can be like a random niche status absorber. Like if you know a Will-O-Wisp is coming, or if you know a Thunder Wave is coming, you just go into that on a Natural Cure and be fine. Technician is also a very useful ability to have, making hit powers hit harder, so that's always solid. And then other than that, like I said, it gets spikes, it gets 2 spikes, it's a good Sludge Bomb user, it's a great, you know, defensive like Fairy Check with very solid Spidef, base 105. Solid speed, base 190 is a solid speed tier for the squad, and you know, helps out there. It could honestly just be a great Scarf Revenge killer as well, because it does have very high special attack at base 125 and can kind of just, you know, kill some things with, you know, Leaf Dracos, Grass Dracos as Shay calls them. Leaf Storms obviously, and then you know, Shadow Ball for coverage, Sludge Bomb, can stun Spore, can sleep, powder, if need be. Extrasensory is cool, Dazzling Gleam's cool, so it can do some things. There's another aromatherapy option, so yeah, Razorwinds fits the squad. Again, not too sure how it fits. Kind of would have still rather had Ferrothorn over Scizor, Roserade, but it's fine. I'm you know, a little bit salty still about the Ferrothorn thing, but I think Scizor Roserade more than makes up for that. But we're fine. It'll all be okay. Would have missed out. You know, it's actually better because now I get T-Spikes instead of just regular spikes, but you'll see why here in a little bit, why Ferrothorn would have really helped this team out. Anyway, moving on to my next pick. As you can see, I've blown through all of my high tier picks pretty much. Like I have 2 tier 1s, 2 tier 2s, and I've already had my tier 3. So, and I don't have my mega yet. So we're gonna be dipping down low, and it's gonna be a lot of fun because you guys know I like to, you know, pull out some fun mons in the low tiers and just have a little bit of fun with those. Anyway, so next up I named my fairy, and in tier 4 there were a few fairies I was looking at, and honestly, couldn't really decide. They were all pretty meh. I wasn't too excited about any of them, but my buddy Pokemaster Mike really sold me on this thing, and that's Comfey. And I do apologize for the fact that I have a Comfey on my team, but it's fine. It's still, you know, it's whatever. This thing is so disgusting, dude. Like, I despise playing Comfey so much to the point that I'm pretty upset with myself for drafting it. But my other options were Diancie and like Aromatisse and Slurpuff, and I've already used like pretty much all of those, so I was just like, you know what, let's try out Comfey. It's disgusting, it's a, you know, jerk to face, so why not just, you know, not have to play it and make some other poor souls have to prep for a Comfey, so it's fine. Triage is obviously an incredible ability, giving its healing moves +3 priority, which is just ridiculous. With Draining Kiss, like, it's just, yeah, it's gonna keep itself alive. It can Calm Mind and just like Draining Kiss everything and not die. It's so disgusting, dude. I believe Triage also gives priority to Aromatherapy. Don't quote me on that, but I know it gives priority to Giga Drain and Heal Bell. I don't know about Heal Bell and Aromatherapy, but I could be wrong. But I know it gives priority to Draining Kiss and Giga Drain, which is just disgusting. Just Calm Mind up and win games, man. Like, this thing doesn't die. It's so gross. It's another defog option, which is always nice. It can Leech Seed as well. Not sure if it's priority on that. I know it's priority Synthesis, which is nice as well. Just, you know, Synthesis back up. It can Taunt. It can Tailwind. It can U-Turn. It can Trick Room. It can regular Trick. Like, the support options this thing provides are honestly disgusting. It doesn't have the best bulk in the world. It has pretty low HP at base 51, but its defenses sort of make up for that. Base 90 and physical defense, 110 SPDF is very solid. 100 speed is, you know, a little bit annoying to have. I kind of wish it had, you know, higher HP than speed, especially with Triage, because it doesn't really need base 100 speed with Triage, but I mean, it's faster than a lot of other fairies, so I guess that's cool. So it can, you know, like taunt like some slower stuff like a Florges or a Sylveon or whatever. It can just get off a taunt before they can do any annoying fairy thing, so that's pretty cool. Like, that's a, yeah, I guess a cool trade-off that it can have for having speed instead of HP is pretty cool, pretty interesting, but yeah. I'm disgusted with myself. Let's move on. So I needed a rapid spinner just so I can keep spikes up if I ever wanted them. I always like to have a rapid spinner if I draft a spike setter. So to me, I also needed a fighting type, and to me it was a no-brainer to just go ahead and grab tier 5 Hitmonchan. I personally love Hitmonchan. I know a lot of people give this mon crap, but in my personal opinion, like, again, just a personal opinion, I know those are dangerous to have in 2019. I think Hitmonchan is the best Hitmon. Don't at me. Like, Iron Fist boosted just everything. Just hits incredibly hard. It's a great Assault Vest used with 110 SPDF. It's gonna take special hits, like even like super effective special hits that aren't boosted. Like, you can switch in on a Psychic if it absolutely needs to, or a Moonblast or something like that, and, you know, just hit hard with coverage or get off a clutch rapid spin. Base 76 speed is solid, if not great. 79 defense, again, solid, not great. 105 physical attack is very good, especially with Iron Fist boosted everything. 50 HP is trash, but again, makes up for it with very good speed F and solid, if not great, physical defense. This thing gets a lot of priority and fake out, mock punch, bullet punch, all boosted by Iron Fist. It gets all the elemental punches. It gets close combat. It gets your drain punch for recovery. It's a great rapid spinner, like I mentioned. Like, again, this is my personal favorite of the Hitmons, and I am definitely expecting this thing to put in a solid amount of work for the squad, providing rapid spin support if I really need spikes, or if it just has a good matchup offensively, just doing a lot of damage with Iron Fist boosted everything. Moving on, since I didn't get Ferrothorn, I really needed another Stealth Rocker, which, spoiler alert, I didn't end up getting, so I really wanted Miltank. Miltank would have fit so damn well with this team, regardless of if I had gotten Ferrothorn or not. It still would have fit perfectly with this team. You know, Vaporeon Miltank is a defensive core that I've been seeing pop up a lot lately. It's very good. If you get a chance to draft that, you should definitely try it out. They complement each other incredibly well. But of course, since, you know, I wanted Miltank, I didn't get Miltank, so that's what feels bad, man. It actually, you know, had gotten taken before Comfey even. So I, you know, been trying to plan around how I was going to replace that. I'm sure some of you can guess the normal type I ended up going with, especially with the theme that I've, you know, I've set with my Landorus and my Mega Slot. But with my next pick, I did decide to go ahead and just get my Mega to give myself more time to think about how I wanted to actually build the team and what I wanted to do on my last two picks. So we did, of course, you know, pick up Mega Tyranitar, giving me an extra 20 points to spend on a free Pokemon, which actually didn't end up coming into play. But again, I just felt that was like too good a value to pass up on. Like, you're gonna give me points for taking Mega Tyranitar with a tier 2 Landorus Incarnate. Like, to me, that was just like silly that was even an option. But I mean, I understand why. They're not exactly the best Pokemon, but my god, Sandforce boosted Landorus I with Mega Tyranitar, and just Mega Tyranitar in and of itself is an incredibly powerful Pokemon. Just great stats all around. Its lowest stat being base 71 speed, which you can boost with Dragon Dance, and I believe agility as well. No, it doesn't get agility, my mistake. But you can boost its mediocre speed with Dragon Dance. Fantastic bulk. Like, this thing is so stinking bulky, dude. Yes, it does have times for weakness to fighting, as well as a, you know, pretty potent ground weakness, but I have a ton of ground switch-ins on this team. I'm not too worried about that. Base 100 HP is incredible. 150 defense, 120 Spadef, boosted by Sandstream. This thing is switching in on any special hit, and it's not dying. And then 95 special attack is very good for like random coverage moves that you might need. This thing can just sit in front of Pokemon and take hits. Like, it sets up Sand for Landorus, and it is unfortunately our only other Stealth Rocker. I'm definitely gonna have to patch that up at some point. I'm hoping that I can, you know, make a trade instead of like a transaction, but it's not likely that I'll be able to really make a trade for anything. I did try to trade for Ferrothorn, of course, but unfortunately the person who has Ferrothorn was like, nah bro, I'm not gonna help you, why would I make your team better? Which is totally understandable, but I felt like I, you know, just sort of had to ask anyway, just in case. But like, you know, so that is a pretty big weakness of this team, that I've managed to get sniped on both secondary Stealth Rockers that I wanted for the squad, which is rough, but we can make do. And like I said, I'll probably end up having to patch that up at some point sooner rather than later, because having Rock's pressure, like having two of my Pokemon that are like the biggest offensive threats on my team hindered by having to run Stealth Rock is never a good thing. Like, neither Landorus or Mega T-Tar appreciates giving up a spot for Rocks, specifically Landorus. Mega T-Tar can get away with it, but it's gonna be rough if like T-Tar has a really good offensive matchup and I have to slap Rocks on it because Landorus can't run Rocks. Like, it's just gonna be pretty annoying to work around for a little bit. And like I said, we'll probably end up patching that up at some point. But Mega T-Tar is like just a great Pokemon all around. It's got fantastic bulk, great attack. I didn't even mention this freaking 164 base physical attack. If you get a Dragon Dance up with this thing, it pretty much just wins unless you have priority or something like a Focus Sash and can just live a hit. Because this thing's coverage is also insane. It's a fantastic Pursuit Trapper with that, you know, of course, you know, being stab, as well as, you know, having that ridiculously high physical attack stat. Stealth Rocks, like I've already mentioned a few times, are a thing that it gets. Like, you know, obviously Stone Edge for stab, all sorts of coverage. It gives you Elemental Punches for coverage, Iron Head, Ice Beam, and Flamethrower for special coverage if needed, earthquake of course, outrage if you absolutely need to kill a dragon, so that's pretty cool. And yeah, T-Tar just provides another just offensive powerhouse for the squad, as well as providing stand support for Landorus. Makes perfect sense to me. So next up is the normal type. I'm sure you can all guess what it is. I just decided to go ahead and grab Stoutland as the backup for Miltank. Like, originally, I didn't want to lean too far into a sand team. That's why you don't see, like, a Gigalith or a Hippowdon or a Hippopotas even as, like, a tier 5 mon. Like, that, I didn't want to lean too far into sand. Like, I felt like Mega T-Tar and Landorus were enough of a sand core to really just, like, complement each other and do well off of each other. So, with that in mind, I did decide to just go ahead and grab Stoutland, as I, you know, really only had points for a tier 5 and a tier 4 mon, and there was just no normal types in tier 4 that appealed to me, so, other than Miltank, of course, which was tier 4, and unfortunately, you know, sniped. But, all in all, Stoutland can do other things outside of sand, like, Intimidate's a very good ability, Scrappy is also a very good ability, of course, Sand Rush, I mean, like, if I can get it in, it's gonna be great, and just gonna get a kill, but how likely is that with only 5 turns of sand, with 2 sand mons? I'm not really too sure, but if we can make it work, it'll be cool. But otherwise, you know, Stoutland can very well, like, easily run a solid bulk set with, like, Intimidate, plus decent natural bulk with 85 HP, 90s both defenses. Like, it can do some things just, like, on its own, like, outside of sand, so that's nice. 110 physical attack is solid. The only thing I will say I don't really like about Stoutland is that it has to rely on Stomping Tantrum, which is annoying. But it does get, like, a niche, like, move in Psychic Fangs, which is cool for destroying screens if my opponent has, like, Veil or just the screen spawn in general. Always nice to have that option, as well as, you know, just hitting things hard with, like, Facade, so it can be, like, a decent status absorber, because it's free to run Facade, honestly, because I don't gen for myself, so why would I want to, you know, take the time out of my very busy day to, like, you know, breed, or, like, you know, lower happiness for frustration, so yeah, I'm perfectly fine with just, you know, slapping Facade and having a status absorber is always a nice thing to have. Outside of that, it doesn't really get the best coverage. It gets Player Off and Ironhead, which is cool. It gets Wild Charge, but yeah, it can do some things like, you know, sub-toxic sets, which are nice with, like, you know, like I've already mentioned, it's good natural bulk, but it doesn't do a whole lot, and unfortunately, it doesn't get Stealth. You got Stealth, or I could be a perfect fit, but, you know, can't all have nice things. Anyways, last up on the draft, I wanted a fire type. I wanted more so a fire immunity as well, just so, because fire types are pretty annoying. It also, you know, helps Scizor, you know, take fire hits. So I wanted like a flash fire mon, and there was only really one in tier 5 I had my eye on. Typhlosion was tier 5, which, you know, I thought about, but I already have 2 base 100 speed mons. I don't really want a third. Actually, I think I have 3 base 100 speed mons. Zapdos, Comfey. Do I have a third? No, but Landorus is 101, so it's basically like the same thing. So I wanted something a little bit faster than that, and I wanted Flash Fire. I wanted a fire type. Guys, it's time, dude. It's freaking time for the return of the horse. We got Rapidash, man. I'm actually really happy about this. For those of you who don't know, I've used Rapidash in the PBL in the past, and I've done very well with this thing. It's honestly, it's a very underrated tier 5 mon. Like, this thing puts in so much work. Base 105 speed. Provides that speed tier a little bit above base 100, which is nice, which is why I didn't pick up Typhlosion. And honestly, this thing's move pool is pretty damn wild as well. It has base 100 attack and flash fire, like I already mentioned, so I decided to go ahead and make this my second Z user to pair with Latios. And this thing just gets a lot of fun stuff. It's, like I said, pretty fast. It can also do some pretty niche things like Agility Baton Pass, which I think is actually banned. I'm pretty sure speed passing is banned, but I mean, if it's not, I mean, I can do that. I'm 90% sure now that I say it out loud that it's banned, so I won't do that, but that's something Rapidash can do for your leagues if speed passing isn't banned. This thing can Agility Baton Pass, so if it's not banned in your league, think about Rapidash as a tier 5 mon. Otherwise, you know, it gets like Mega Horn, Poison Jab for coverage, as well as Wild Charge for coverage. This thing just gets a lot of cool moves. Quick Attack is always nice to have for priority. Low Kick for like rock type stuff. I don't want to switch in on it. Like a Okota T-Tar with low kick, like Expert Belt boosted, best item. This thing is just a great like revenge killer, solid Z move user. It can do some cool things. It gets high horsepower for ground coverage as well. It gets drill run, but high horsepower is better. I mean, screw crit chances because it misses, and high horsepower is a little bit stronger. So if you're gonna miss, I'd go for power over crit. But it can do either. Iron Tail's another move that he gets that it can use with it can use with Z moves, so Sunny Day as well as Solar Beam. So yeah, this is a really fun mon. I personally love this thing, and I'm really excited to give it another try in a more serious league. And I'm thinking it could do some fun things. Rapidash is really underrated, and I'm hoping I can show it off a little bit. So that is the squad for the UBL D-League Season 1. Again, shout out to the council for allowing me this opportunity. Really looking forward to it. Week 1 will go up a week from the day, so get excited for that. And once again, go check out all the other coaches in the description. Go check out their draft analysis videos and show them some love. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.